life of people not only in Niger State but also.
Still a chance for Ian Robin. It's
let him shoot. No problem.
Nigeria about to exit second wave of COVID-19. Still on the headline
of nursing and midwifery to Edo State College Nursing Sciences as part with the
Hello viewers, you're welcome to the Gallery TV once again. Today, 17th of April 2022. This morning, as usual, we'll be going through the major headlines as published by Nigerian dailies. Always, I'm Elede Chidima. Thanks for joining us at this moment. The newspaper with me this morning is the Punch newspaper, the New Telegraph, the Nation newspaper, and many others. And we're going to start with the Punch newspaper this morning, which has a major headline saying zoning crisis threatens PDP. South insists on presidency. Party in Delima over zoning doesn't want to appear anti-South. Chief Dan. As Governor Fayose buys presidential form, rejects Saraki's consensus proposal. Adopting zone now undemocratic, it will shut out the best, says Adamawa Chair. Yeah, that's the major headline on the Punch this morning, and you can get the full story of that on page 2. Above, we have 2 died in Jonathan's convoy crash, others injured. That's on page 5. On page 5, we have Lassa fever spread as COVID-19 cases drop. Federal government lifts restrictions. Ex-Governor Atta slams Malami with 1.5 million naira defamation suit. That's on page 9. NNPC pays 3.68 billion US dollar owns total against Shell 1.1 billion US dollar cash call debt. That's on page 17. On page 9, we have COVID-19. Senate protests Ghana's maltreatment of Nigerians. That will take us below the major headline. We have a major headline which says Zenith Bank pays 97.33 billion naira dividend to shareholders. That's on page 23. On page 4, we have suspected smuggler Skill Ogun custom officer dumps body in pit. Lagos father smashes baby skull, burns house, blames evil spirits. You can get the full story of that on page 4. And we have a front page picture says pensioner threatens shutdown with Fayemi. Abiodun Southeast governors retiree slums. That's all we have on the Punch newspaper this morning. That will take us to the next paper here with me this morning, the Daily Trust newspaper. The major headline on Daily Trust, 10 months after 11 Yoari, school girls still in captivity. Dogo Guide insists on 100 million ransom. Families 20 million collected, girl with head. Kidnapping building mansion leaves large in purse. Mother bedridden over girl's fate. That's the major headline on Daily Trust. Ohaneze to PDP. Justin zoning is conspiracy against Igbo presidency. Subscribers count losses as federal government directive to ban line subsists. That will take us below. We have another major headline on Daily Trust. Train attack, terrorists release Bank of Agric MD, threatens others. That's all we have on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. That will take us to the next paper here with us. The next paper is the Nation newspaper. The major headline on the Nation says, zoning, Ohaneze lashes PDP as Fayose faults consensus. As governors rate Atiku Tambawal as paperweights, Obiazo PDP violates own constitution on zoning party. NEG will decide on rotation, says Autumn. That's the major headline on the Nation. Above, we have terrorists threaten to kill, attack, train hostage. That's on page 28. Dangote Adenuga Rabiu remains in Forbes richest list. Federal government lifts more COVID-19 restrictions. Bank MD abducted on attack train regained freedom. That's on page 30 and 26 on the Nation newspaper this morning, as CBN fines 4 banks over crypto transactions. Zenith Bank gives a nice 3.3 billion naira dividends. That's all we have on the Nation newspaper this morning. The next here with me is the Daily Independent, and the major headline on Daily Independent newspaper this morning: APC leader wants Buhari and Gates consensus candidacy, and no aspirant should be imposed on contestants. That's coming from Sage. Court orders 35% public offices reserved for women. Buhari makes maintenance of public buildings mandatory. Signs Executive Order 11. By the side of the paper, we have two police officers died in Jonathan's convoy clash. Federal government roll out soft interest-free loan program in 36 states. That's on page 7. Still on page 7, we have a story that says federal government now suspend 98% of her revenue on debt servicing. That's coming from Pete Obi. Senate seeks end to maltreatment of Nigerians traveling to Ghana. You can get a full story of that on page 6. Still on page 6, we have CBN penalized banks for floating cryptocurrency directives. COVID-19, federal government lifts midnight curfew crowd restriction. The full story of that is on page 6. Despite ASU strike, federal government okays establishment of 12 new verses. Minister says federal government not overwhelmed by insecurity. Zenith Bank pays shareholders 97.33 billion naira dividend. That's all on the Daily Independent newspaper. And the last paper with me this morning is the New Telegraph, and the major headline of the New Telegraph says 2023 controversy trial, PDP's presidential ticket zoning. That's on page 3, 4. You can get the full story on 3, 5, 6, 8, and 27 on the New Telegraph newspaper, as published today, 7th of April 2022. COVID-19, federal government lifts midnight curfew restriction on gathering. Preps concur with Senate extend 2021 budget to May. That's on page 3, 4, and 26. On page 5, we have Carlo moves to attract Federal Poly College of Education to Abia North. South is killing Odin Carlo heads Soludo's Peace Justice Committee. That's on page 4. Above we have allocation, states, local government to earn more. Cryptocurrency, CBN fines bank 800 million naira for floating directives. By the side of the paper this morning on the New Telegraph, we have 2023 APC fourth report on primaries, set to roll out cost of nomination. That's on page 4 and 6. We have a forms timetable, fresh crisis hit Delta State chapter. NURTW dissolves MC Oluomo-led council, names Sheyi Bankole as new head. That's on page 29. Jonathan escapes death in auto crash, loses at 2-8. We have a major headline on the New Telegraph that says terrorists suffering heavy casualty, says federal government. And that will bring us to the end of today's newspaper headline review. I'm Eleje Chidima. Do join us at 12 for yet another update. Thanks for watching.
The life of people not only in the United States but also.
Still a chance for Ryan Robin. It's
Let them shoot, let them shoot. No problem.
Nigeria about to exit second wave of COVID-19. Still on the headline
of nursing and midwifery to Edo State College Nursing Sciences as part with the